Happy fall, y'all, and welcome to episode 48 of LMR Live from the University of Mississippi. You can't see all of them, but there's some fabulous people sitting here on the set. Are y'all fabulous? Yeah! Education plus entertainment equals what? Equals edutainment, and I hope you are ready for a ride today. We are keeping with our tradition of collaborating with the Sarah Isom Center for Women and Gender Studies, and this fall we have two projects that we're doing together. Today, our collab with Julie Williams, and then in November, we have our Sarah Fest Artist in Residence program with poet and educator Caroline Young. So today's guest is singer-songwriter Julie Williams. Let me tell you a little bit. It's actually going to be a little more than a little bit because there's so much to say, but I'm going to try to condense it down so we get her out here. Julie Williams was raised in Florida and is turning heads in Nashville's music scene with her compelling blend of country storytelling, soft yet powerful vocal performance, and indie folk production. I agree. She grew up listening to everyone and everything from the Chicks and James Taylor to Gladys Knight and Michael Jackson, which we're going to talk about those two because there are some Ole Miss connections there. Drawn to the storytelling of country music, she never found the sound that spoke to everything she was. What are those things? Black, white, Southern, a woman, hopeful, truthful. So Julie decided to make this sound. She says, "My music is mixed like me." That's how she describes it. She says, "I want to tell the stories that need to be told." A student at Duke University, Julie was signed to Small Town Records. After graduating in 2019, she moved to Nashville and found her musical home in the Black country and Americana scene. In 2022, I mean, this is recent, y'all, Julie joined the Black Opry, a collective of Black artists in country, blues, folk, and Americana music that have been featured on Kelly Clarkson, Good Morning America, and NPR Music. Julie was named a CMT Equal Access Artist in 2023. Julie has played over 120 shows in 26 states in the past 2 years, and everyone is just loving it. Julie was inducted into the CMT Next Women of Country Classic of 2023, joining Casey Musgraves, Lainey Wilson, Morgan Wade, and others. In 2023 of June, Julie released her self-entitled EP, Julie Williams, which was covered by American Songwriter and The Tennessean. On August 20th, Julie released Just Friends, the first single for her upcoming EP, Tennessee Moon, to be released on October 17. She released the second single on September 17th, Reckless Road. My favorite piece, work, song that she has out there is Southern Curls. Let's put our hands together and welcome the Julie Williams.
Thank you for such a beautiful intro.
Please.
Thanks.
It's such an honor to have you here for so many reasons. Whether it's the collab aspect with Sarah Isom Center, whether it's all that you stand for, whether it's the thoughts and the connectivity that come out of your work, whether it's the inspiration you provide to our students, it's overwhelming. So welcome.
Thank you for having me here. That was such a lovely welcome.
Well, we're glad to have you. Have you ever been to Oxford before?
I have never been. This is my first time. So
first impressions?
I mean, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful fall day. The campus is just incredible, and yeah, I'm just so happy to be here.
We've got the fall vibe going.
I know. We really
went fall. Yes. So we're going to kick off with our first segment, Truth Be Told. These are some simple questions inspired by Proust questionnaire. Let's hit it and see what comes up today. What fashion trend would you like to bring back?
Oh, I feel like there's a lot of really bad things that I wore when I was younger. I was like, would see Limited 2 and just go crazy. Let's see, what would I want to bring?
The trend could predate you.
The trend, it could be something that's not even in mine.
Yeah.
Which ones do I think I could bring back? I just love, I love, maybe this is more hair fashion, but I think just the bigger, the better hair. And I think that's we're in that moment right now.
Yes.
I just want to pick, I mean, of course it's up today, but I just love picking it out as big as I can. And so just 70s, whole 70s, black 70s vibe is is what I want. Yeah.
Love it, love it. Next one. What is your favorite quote or lyric? Your own or otherwise?
Let's see. I think it's from one of my favorite quotes. There's a song, Truth Number 2, originally written by Patty Griffin, but then the Chicks did a cover of it, and I just grew up loving the Chicks. There's a song that says, "Sing something brave from your mouth," and I feel like that's always inspired me as a songwriter and as an artist, that, like, especially when you're making art, you want people to listen to it, right? Like, you want people to listen and want to keep streaming your music, but sometimes that can make you think so much more about other people and rather of yourself and what you want to say. And sometimes talking about your life and the things that go on it can be a little bit scary. So I always just think to that. I'm like, sing something brave, because for me, always the pieces of art that I've gravitated for have been those ones when people have been brave making it. So I think about it often.
In my opinion, I think you're being very successful with that in your songwriting.
I'm trying
because
my
it's
best.
incredibly brave, and it is, I'm only speaking for one human, but very easy to connect and relate to. So awesome.
you.
One more question. What has been the best day of your life so far?
Oh, okay, I'm 27. I'm trying to think.
Got a lot of living yet to do.
I've got a lot of living to do.
Yeah.
The best day of my life. I don't know if this is like I can't think of, this probably isn't the actual best day, but I think a recent great day of mine, let's see. Oh, I got to perform at this thing called Newport Folk Festival, which is in Rhode Island. And for those who know, it's like this big festival. Lana Del Rey was opening that night when we were playing on the main stage. It was with the Black Opry, and my parents got to come, and they were there. My dad was wearing like a Julie Williams shirt with my face on it. Like he was so excited.
That's epic!
And so I got to go out and sing the song Southern Curls, and there was like 20,000 people. There were people in boats and everything. And I only got to do one song, but it was a feeling unlike anything I've ever felt before. And I think just having like my family there and all that, it's hard to top that day.
I mean, and not to make it a competition, but what was more powerful, your face on your dad's shirt or the 20,000 people? Because I think that both are like magnificent.
I mean, I think both, but I really think it was like the community of people, because being a part of the Black Opry has really like changed my life in Nashville, and we've become such a family. There's over 200 artists that have been connected with Black Opry, but there's about 40 or so that like really we've toured together, and we started playing shows together when there was, I think the first show we played in like Macon, Georgia, had like 10 people there. Like there was nobody there, and then to go from that to that in a few years, just with the same group of people, was all really special. Like we were all just crying, and it was so. I hope that I'll have more opportunities in my career to be on stages like that, but I don't think there will ever be a time where all of those stars will align with all of those people and my parents and everything. So
no, it's something you just mentioned, I think, is on my mind a lot. I mean, and we're seeing this with various artists right now. You know, we see the end product often once someone's successful, right? And they've got the crowds. But all of the times, the grind it takes of those moments playing for 10 people, or, you know, finding your people. I mean, jumping from, say, audience of 10 to audience of 20,000, did having that group just make it that much more comfortable? Did it make it, I mean, how did it inform that?
Yeah, I think being an artist is this constant push and pull of like gratitude for where you're at, and being like, wow, I'm gonna do this amazing opportunity. But it's oftentimes like the day after my best shows are usually like my worst mornings.
Yeah.
Like you wake up and and I think it's just, it literally is like a brain thing, like a chemical. Like you're not meant to have, I think as humans, as much like dopamine as you do with standing on a stage and having people like cheer for you. It's just, I don't think our brains are meant to do that. So then the next day, it's just like this crazy come down.
Yeah.
And especially like as soon as I just open my phone, it's like, oh, look, this person did this or this person, whatever. And it's just like this immediate kind of come down. And I think as an artist too, like you're constantly wanting to play. You're like, oh, I want to play a show at this venue. But then you get there and maybe you don't sell as many tickets as you wanted. But you, a year ago, was like, oh, I would dream of being at that venue. And then when you're there, it's you're constantly like wanting more. But I think it is, I have to constantly, and that's the importance of having people around you who know you and can say like, hey, like slow down, be still in this present moment. Like you're doing something now that you like dreamed about before, and just take that in. Yeah, so I haven't yet figured it out. But
I mean, has anyone in here figured it out? Because I certainly haven't, and I'm thinking, how many people in here relate to what she's saying? I mean, that roller coaster of sorts. And for those that aren't performers, the best analogy I can give is like, if you celebrate Christmas, the day after Christmas, like you have the hype for that day, and then the next day it's sort of like, that change from the high of the performance to the low afterwards. So I think it's pretty cool that when you were in college, what was your major?
I studied public policy. I did not study music. I was just mentioning to you this before, like I took a music class when my first semester, and I was definitely like a perfectionist student. Like I really wanted good grades, and I got like my classical voice teacher gave me an A-, and I was like, nope, I quit. I was like, I'm not doing music at all, or at least like getting music instruction. So if you're in a music major, I really commend you, because it's hard to like get a grade on your art and your performance.
It is really hard.
It's a little scary. Like I don't even know now. It makes me nervous even thinking about it too. I'm like, oh, what grade would I get?
That's something we have to think about within the academy. Like you want to give feedback, but is it feedback that's going to spark, or is it feedback that's going to snuff the light, which we don't want? And I think something you said a moment ago is so key. Whatever stage you are in your career, your life, your trajectory, to have people around you that can really speak the reality. Because I think for ourselves, it's hard to sometimes see what that reality is. And you said it so well about, you know, what you've dreamed for. You get there and you're already looking ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. But it wasn't just that. I also like growing up, I was really passionate about like volunteering and just issues that I cared about. When I was in 4th grade, I was like, I'm gonna be a marine biologist. And I was like, I wanna save the sharks. Like whatever it was, like I wanted to save, you know? I'm like, I wanna be a doctor.
Wait, you haven't written a song about the sharks yet though, have you?
I haven't, but nobody needs me to have a new shark face, because that was horrible, like Shark Week when I was little. But no, I was always like a super driven kid, like, and I wanted the work that I would put in every day to make people's lives better. And so by the time I got to college, for me, it was public policy. I didn't know if I wanted to work for like a nonprofit or the government, but I knew that I wanted that sort of like more advocacy work. But music was always something that was separate to me. I grew up in Florida. I used to play at like beach bars and restaurants and stuff, like these 4-hour cover gigs where people would just be drinking margaritas and not caring at all what I was doing, like that sort of stuff. But it was my job in high school. And so I always, like, music felt so different, and it was kind of like an outlet. And then this was like what I really wanted to focus on. And I studied that all through. And then when I got to my senior year, I got like the internship I wanted. I was living in DC. It all seemed like was seeming to be perfect. I had my college boyfriend at the time who was also going to move to DC. It just seemed like all set for me. And then that summer, I was so depressed. I was like, this was everything that I was like planning for and hoping for my whole life. And I hate this. But I was playing just a cover gig on Fridays in Georgetown. Once again, it was like a 4-hour cover gig. I wasn't playing any of my own music. People weren't even listening to me, but I was like looking forward to that the whole week. I was like, oh, just until I get to that. And I had a mentor. We would have these lunches for all the interns and some of the senior staff at this organization, this nonprofit. This lady was she was the top lawyer. Like, she was just like, has had an incredible career. And we sat down, and I remember asking her, like, how did you get to where you are? Like, what did you do after college? And she goes, well, I liked to row. I was a rower, and I wanted to see if I could make the Olympics. So I moved to San Diego, and I rowed for 4 years. And then I just decided I didn't like it anymore, and I thought, like, might as well go back to school. And she's like, she just applied to a whole bunch of schools and across different things, and then also applied to law school, got there, and then became the top of her career. But for me at that time, I'm like, 4 years of not doing like school-related things, and you still are at the top of your career. Like, it almost was like she was giving me permission to try. And she's like, I just fell out of love with it, and I could never say that I didn't try. And it was like at that moment in that internship, I mean, I don't think that was what they were expecting, that as an intern you decide, oh, I'm not gonna work here because by someone's advice. But I told myself that, where I was like, you know what, I never wanna look back and say that I didn't try. So I decided that I was gonna move, and I didn't know where at that point, but I was like, I wanna do music for at least a few years, and if I fall out of love with it, if I fail, at least I will never say that I didn't try.
Right.
And yeah, and then now I'm still here, so.
That's amazing. That is amazing. And I mean, so many times we go into things thinking, okay, this 2 + 2 = 4.
Yeah.
But then that 2 + 2 can equal so many other things. And how, again, another moment of you being brave.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, people often ask me, they're like, do you regret going to school? Like, do you think, like, was that just a waste of time if you didn't use your degree at all? And I say, absolutely not. I mean, part of like being at a university like this is there's so many resources. Like, there's never another time in your life where there's so many resources and so many things you can take advantage of. Like, even the fact that I, like, sometimes it's so hard for me, I'm a horrible cook, to be like focusing so much on how I'm gonna feed myself, and then I don't even have time to think of like my work because I'm like trying to like meal prep like just like from the littlest things to like having some of those worked out, having community around you, but then like having the opportunity to, at Duke there was a student record label, so I got to like record music for the first time. I got to practice singing in a microphone and realizing, oh, if I sing too close, then you'll get the P sound, and so I have to work on that. So by the time I got to a studio later, I already knew that lesson because I learned it in a safer environment. And also a lot of, I think, learning how to like send a professional email, learning how to network, learning how to like build community and relationships with your peers, but also with like professors. It's very similar to when you're meeting people in the music industry. And I feel like I learned so much. And then even in public policy, like a huge part of it was learning, like, how do you get somebody to care about an issue that you care about, right? Like, if you want to, you know, save the rainforest or whatever it is, like you, or get someone to care about something relating to healthcare. Like, you can give people facts, but oftentimes the thing that speaks more is stories. You tell someone a story of somebody and what they went through. And it really is that storytelling component that I was just drawn to. And now, kind of looking back, I'm like, oh, that's what drew me to the policy world, was that storytelling, and I can put that and combine that in my music, and you know, and it can feel more like me. So
that's fabulous. That's fabulous. Who wants to hear a little bit of Julie? Yes, yes. So we're gonna play a little clip of Reckless Road. Okay. All right. Little clip of Reckless Road, please. I love your voice so much.
Thank you.
I love it, love it, love it. And you are a brilliant storyteller. Brilliant.
You.
Your visit here, I feel like I've been talking about you for months, and I know you better than I do, but this visit has inspired other relationships and artistic discoveries. So about to welcome onto the set two individuals, maybe unlikely collab or unlikely friends. About to meet KK Deans and Isabel Goad, and they together, because of your visit, it has resulted in a songwriting session series here at the university, and
so
it's fabulous, and it has brought people together who have been doing it for a while, and some people like Maya, who is just embarking on new territory. And it's really neat because, similar to your story of public policy to music, it's bringing together athletics and music. It's bringing together accountancy and music. It's connecting folks. So we're going to welcome here in a moment Isabel Goad, who is a music education major at the University of Mississippi. She says she is always trying to find joy in the journey. She aspires to spread the joy and love of music everywhere she goes. And we're also going to bring up KK, or Kirsten Deans, who is a graduate student at the University of Mississippi who plays on the women's basketball team in her free time. She enjoys spending time with family and making music. Let us meet and welcome Isabel and KK. Hello, KK.
Oh. Hello.
Now, I shouldn't say they wouldn't have met otherwise, but it just was so organic through all that was going on, and hold me accountable if I misrepresent anything. But because of you coming here and what this was going to present, it afforded this beautiful opportunity to launch something. Would you guys share about what you've been doing?
All right, well, I will share a little bit of what we've been doing. It kind of started out during the summer. Actually, the idea of it, we had known that you would be coming, at least little hints in the air. And so KK was actually an intern at the music department, and I was just working for the summer because I decided to stay up here throughout summer instead of go back home. And so I was looking for a job, and then that's where KK and I met. And Professor Balach, you were kind of just the interim for that, because I feel like we would have definitely talked at some point.
Yeah. I facilitated a little bit. I
You-
will tell you. I
you
was like,
did.
these two dots need to connect.
You did. And so Professor Balach had known that I transferred from a community college, and in that community college, I did like a country commercial band. I did off-lance gigs, like I did coffee bars, and I would do bar gigs with bands every now and then. And it was a fun experience for me, and then I started writing my own songs. That was all in community college, so that wasn't that long ago. So it's still a work in progress, but I enjoy doing it. And KK, she mixes music, and she has her own music too, and that was a fun experience to kind of meet each other and talk about that. Now, given I had never shared my music with somebody who I had just met that day.
Yeah.
And that was kind of how KK and I were. And it was a very vulnerable thing, and that's one of the words that we use to describe it. It's very vulnerable, which with this songwriter session is kind of what our goal was. We wanted people to come together and be vulnerable, just because there's so much talent here, especially in the music building or in the athletics department or in the accountant program, that is just, you would never know until you have that spot. And so we wanted to create a safe space, and our big word for it has been an organic space, just because how KK and I, when we shared our music, it was one day where we were both working, and we just went into a room and we told each other the stories behind our music, because that's what really made us come together. It's the meaning behind the music. We related on a deep level about that, and I think the meaning behind music is what connects people. And so we wanted that for these songwriter sessions, and our thing was, while I pick at keys and sing, KK, she has tracks and everything. I don't know how to do that. And so our songwriter sessions, we wanted people to come from all different sorts. Like, you have people playing guitar, you have people who can write lyrics, you have people who can sing. And so everybody coming together will eventually just lead to something beautiful.
That's
and
awesome.
something
and
so
they've been
creative.
successful in doing this and getting folks together. And the
Yes.
other thing that I think motivates me with it, and KK, I'd love for you to address this, is the fact that so much of your identity is basketball and is sports. And then having this space where this other side of you can come out, because it ties back to even what you were saying, right? The time in public policy drawn to the storytelling, but then it informs later the music career. Like, how do we find these ways for these things to intersect? And for me as an administrator, how do we do it where it's welcomed and students don't have to go like hide in a corner to do it? Like, they're being supported by the system. They're being supported by the infrastructure. Can you speak to that, KK?
Yeah, really, you wouldn't know, especially for athletes, you wouldn't know that they did music unless, like, they shared it or you knew them outside of it. But a lot of athletes do music a lot in their free time as an escape or as their second hobby. And that's kind of like how I feel. I feel like my music is something that just decompresses like everything that I have going on. But this space was really unique because, like I said, like she lives at the archive. I'd be at the archive all the time. I never saw her. And then like the internship, and then you pushing me to do something outside of my comfort zone and being comfortable in that space. We found connection through that, so connection through music, and it was really nice and cool to see. And then now, like, and the sessions and just seeing like Maya, who came to all the sessions, and now she did from no writing, no music, to putting something together and then getting feedback and then actually coming up and creating with another person that showed up. And that was just really the idea of the whole thing in the first place. So that was probably my best part of the sessions.
And I mean, I didn't know what you were going to say about university affording opportunities. And this is really an example, I think, of that, and for folks to understand, you know, the university infrastructure supporting that. We just want to give a little teaser. Tonight, Julie will be doing a master class, if you're in the area, in that auditorium, 7:30, with some various students, including Isabel and KK. We're just going to give a little teaser of what Isabel's going to be sharing, and then we'll do a little teaser of KK.
Hi guys, I'm Isabel, and I've come to share one of my songs with y'all. This is a song called Handwritten Letters, and I wrote it as a response to a song written about me. So, it's a very rough draft, but hope you guys enjoy it, so let's get into it. Your song was somewhat cute, I admit, but there's just something wrong with it. Those handwritten letters are a fragment of the past. We were never truly built to last. And who are you to take my letters and write a song? And who are you to be the judge of how I miss you? Who are you to say you didn't leave because of me? And who are you to twist and turn and make them to a lie?
That's awesome. I can't wait to hear the whole thing. Oh.
Isn't that great?
It's awesome. You have an incredible voice. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, I can't wait to hear more and just dive into it later. It's gonna be.
It's definitely a song that it was one of the random songs. You know, you just make random songs.
Yeah.
I had gotten sent a mixed audio of a song that was written about me, and in that moment, it was honestly, it infuriated me.
Yeah.
And
It inspired, artistry.
It inspired me, but at the same time, it's like that person is just, you know, put old stuff aside, proud of that person, but at the same time, it's like, who are you to take handwritten letters that I wrote to you and make a song out of them?
Yeah.
When we had been through so much. And so, like, the song that was written about me was about the letters that I wrote. And so that's kind of why, henceforth, I titled mine Handwritten Letters. It's like, no, you can't do that.
I love it. Some of my favorite songs, some of my best songs have come from the pettiest of places. So I like totally relate to that. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yes.
you definitely should write a song back. So
It was just a means for me. I wrote that at 25 minutes. That's just how
Oh yeah.
I was like, but looking back at it, I wanted to, and you'll see it tonight, but the musicality I took of it, it's like, I started out with the block chords.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the petty aspect of it. And then the swooping chord is like, oh, who are you? It's kind of like a reflecting back of all, the happy memories that were in that situation. But then it goes back to the block chords. It's like, wait a minute. No, actually.
Yeah.
You can't take that from me.
I love the fact that I've known you not a long time, but I know you for a set amount of time, didn't even know this aspect of you. And then out of this, opportunity, it came to light, and then getting to facilitate this in this way, and now going to be able to learn from Julie is going to be fabulous. KK,
Great.
let's have a little sampling of your music.
It never gets easier to sit there while other people listen to your music. I'm like,
Right now it feels like a microscope, right? Teaser, yes.
that's awesome.
Who would have thought when you came over for day one of the internship that, we would move forward in this way. So I appreciate that both of you are willing to be so vulnerable and open.
Me too.
And I also appreciate you creating that space for your peers. Very much so. Anything you want to add, KK?
No, just I appreciate you for making this out of something, because it was never a thing, and and pushing me, like I said, to get out of my comfort zone, and introduce me to Isabel, and yeah.
Now we'll bring our whole entourage, not that they weren't already going to the basketball games, but in addition to sound of the SIP being there, we'll make sure we're there.
Sure.
Whoop, whoop, right? Yes, okay. So we always play a game on LMR Live, and the team has decided we are playing Name That Tune. We are going to go head-to-head between Julie and KK, but let's get us in the mood for Name That Tune. All right, so back in the day, this was one of my favorite shows. It has evolved through time, and we're back to Name That Tune. Today, the way we're doing it, though, little spin on the contemporary version, where each contestant will be allowed to decide whether they want to hear 1 second, which is worth 3 points, 5 seconds, that is worth 2. Oh, wait, I did that backwards. 1 second is worth 3 points. Sorry. 5 seconds is worth 2 points, and 10 seconds is worth 1 point. So it depends how brave you feel. If the person doesn't get it, I think you'll get these. But if you don't, the other person may guess for a total of 3 points. We'll give it regardless. And if they don't get it, guess what, audience? You're going to shout it out. In? Yeah. Professor Johnson is ready. All right, she is back there, and she is ready. Dancing is allowed, but no clues until they first try to guess. Deal? All right, are we in?
I'm nervous, but I'm
You got this. You got this. All right. We're going to let you go first, Julie. Do you want first song? Do you want 1 second, 5 seconds, or 10?
I think I'm gonna go 5 just to play it safe for the first round, and then I'll see if my confidence grows.
We also get to learn about them and how they choose to go about this. I love it. All right. First song, 5 seconds.
Oh, I only needed 1 for that one.
right, 5 seconds.
Girls just want to have fun.
You got it! Who likes this song? Whoop, 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 whoop. Cindy Lauper.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to be more risky next time. I'm like, I got this.
We might be playing with you, though. You never know. You never know. Okay. All right. KK, how many seconds do you want?
I'm gonna go 5 as well.
5 as well. They have this in common. High five.
Okay.
5 as well. Here we go. Song number 2.
Wait, she said I can phone a friend.
Not yet. Not yet. You get. Wait. All right. You got this. You got this.
I don't got this.
You don't got this? Okay. All right. You want, okay, pause. Do you want to take a guess?
I know what it is, but I feel bad.
No, don't feel bad.
Okay.
Don't feel bad.
You-
Can steal.
She can steal. You want to let her steal?
You can steal.
You get to steal.
Please.
Please, Sabrina Carpenter.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. We're going back. How many seconds? 1, 5, or 10?
I'm going to try 1.
Woo! This is a good one for 1. Okay, here we go.
Pink Pony Club.
Yes!
I love Chaperone.
I do too! Fabulous. Would you have known that one?
No. No, I would not.
I was really nervous because sometimes I'll like go to things and they're like, you do country music, so let me like, and usually it's just like old white men that are like let me
out
give
of
you
this
these
dead
like country
vault.
music from from the 60s men, and they're like, what's this? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, why do you do country music? So I was like coming in nervous for that, but like
Oh, no.
current pop, I'm like, oh, I got this.
We don't do it like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good.
No.
I should have known.
All right,
Like a woman
you got
better.
this. You got this. Okay, let me look what we have though before I go here.
Friend happened.
Well, maybe we'll let you this time. Okay, this next one I didn't know. I'm confessing to y'all, I did not know. So, how many seconds do you want?
5.
5?
Yeah.
All right, we're going with 5.
As you promised me that I was.
I want to phone a friend. I think her right there, she needs to tell me what it is. Because this is her jam.
I'm
Like,
gonna let you phone a
she-
friend. It is! Woo!
So that-
Thank you.
friend.
It's a nice little game collab. I'm in. I think that's good. Okay, we have one more. Do we follow the same approach? Okay, one more. Or should we make them go head to head on this last one? Just see who can get it. Let's go head to head. And just see. Whoever knows it first says it, okay? This is our last one.
Oh, I got it.
She's got it.
All right?
High Horse, Casey Musgraves.
Yes!
It's my favorite album.
I promise we were not trying to.
No, you're great.
Yeah.
No.
I
We
take
rigged
my
it so
L.
the guest would win. No.
Yeah, no. This is why
That's all right.
it's good that I was not good at sports, because like I feel no satisfaction of winning. I just like wish everyone can win. I'm like,
I
I
hear
feel
you.
bad. But that's you know what I mean? I'm like, that's why I should not be playing basketball. I'd be like, oh man.
But Katie, I'm gonna share this playlist with you, and then we'll
Yeah,
get
maybe-
together and
yeah.
we'll take a deep dive.
Yeah. For
Are
sure.
you in?
I'm in.
All right, works. All right, let's give a round of applause to KK and Isabel. Before they step off the set, we're gonna do a LMR 360, and we're gonna hear from our very own team member Maya Taylor about an aspect of her experience as well as the other team members with LMR.
Join us in this installment of LMR 360 as we share moments from the Dream Team's memorable trip to New York City. How awesome it was seeing the Rockettes during the Christmas holiday. Enjoying Back to the Future the musical with music by Glenn Ballard. Visiting with Kelly and Mark as Professor Balach entertains everyone with her dance moves. And then putting a bow on this wonderful trip by touring the Met and meeting up with our Season 9 guest, Adam Gettle. We can't wait to experience our next adventure together.
Yay, Maya. Thank you, Maya, for putting together that LMR 360. That's just one of the many things students get to do that work with us on this team. I want to shift to a really important topic. You mentioned it a bit, activism. And can you tell us a little bit about what the Green Room Concert Conversations is?
Yeah, so said I moved to Nashville 5 years ago and really kind of got thrown in to the music industry and started touring and have had some experiences as a woman that have not been the most pleasant, and I think you could like throw a rock in Nashville and find lots of other people who have had similar experiences. And
Or I could throw a rock here.
yeah, like it's sad to say, but so I wrote this song called "The Prince" about an experience that I had, and kind of through that I got connected with the Sexual Assault Center in Nashville because I wanted to put I had this music video that was premiering in Times Square, and I wanted to make sure that I had the proper warnings and everything like that. And with them, I took this training that was about sexual harassment in the music industry, and it was just an hour-long thing, and I learned so much, and was I wish that I had learned this or had these conversations when I was in college, because I feel as a music business student, you're learning, or even at my time at our student record label, we were learning what's a royalty split, what's a PRO, how to record, but nobody ever talked about some of the the realities, because when it comes to being a musician, only 5% of your time is actually on stage. The rest of it is sending a whole bunch of emails, it's traveling in a van, it's sleeping in a hotel room, it's whatever it is up until you get to that point that you're on stage. And music is not there's no HR for artists. If you have something that happens to you, an example, I went to an award show last year, and something happened to me at an award show last year, and but there's nobody I could talk to because there's no that sort of thing. And so oftentimes it's people looking out for each other, being hey, watch out for this sound person. Or somebody gave me a really great piece of advice when I first moved to Nashville. She was don't take a business meeting with a man past 6 p.m. because that's not a meeting, that's a date. And if he really wants to work with you, you can have coffee the next morning. And I remember being okay. And then somebody asked me, they're hey, you want to grab some drinks at 8:30? And I was oh, actually, let's do coffee the next day. And just because somebody had told me that, and I think, especially as musicians and as artists, you're told to say yes to everything. You're this person could be help you get your next big break. And sometimes you meet people with these really big resumes. And I think this goes across a whole bunch of industries, right?
Absolutely.
You're trying to get this internship, and the VP at some place is hey, let's grab something and let's talk about you and your career. And oftentimes you're oh, I want to say yes to things. And part of it, I just wanted to have these. So I wanted to start this thing called Green Room Conversations to really bring the conversations that people are having behind the scenes, out to the forefront. And so we visited a few colleges, UT Austin, Duke, MTSU, and have some more kind of planned for next year. And they've all looked a bit different, but really it's just me sitting down with students, and I'll play a song or two and then just kind of share my story and just pieces of advice, and just have really frank conversations with people. And some of them have been really small groups of 10 to 15 students. Other have been more kind of more lecture style, and they've all been really different. And I mean, just from the simplest thing of because sometimes in music you might have to share a hotel room with a coworker. You might have shows where there are drinks and alcohol. There's all of these very specific things that come into it. So I'm ask me anything and everything.
Right.
They're not recorded or all of that. I'm I will spill all
What
of
happens
the tea.
in the room
what
stays
happens
in the
room
room.
stays in the room. And and I think it's beneficial for everybody. I've had students come up and saying hey, I want to be a booking agent when I leave this. How can I best protect my artists as a booking agent? I'm that's a great question. I've been really lucky with mine where I've been hey, I had a really bad experience at this one. Can you not book me here again? And having agents that care about that. And if artists are telling them that, then they say, hey, let me not book my artist there. Like
Right.
that's a very little thing that somebody can do. And I think having those types of conversations for the next generation of people that are coming into the music industry, there's a chance to, I don't think it's not like, oh my gosh, this is going to save all of Nashville and the whole music industry. But if there's like one person that could have that piece of advice and maybe feel empowered to say no in a moment, or feel empowered to stick up for a friend, whatever that is, like if I just would want to be a part of that conversation.
I think it's huge. And I think that the fact that the conversations, there's a space for the conversations to occur, and there's the openness for people to understand that certain things are not okay.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's a newer phenomenon, really, when it comes to women, of where those boundaries can be. So you're having huge impact. And if you haven't listened to her song, The Prince, is a great work. It is so beautiful. Wow, thank you. I get misty. I can't help it. When you care about something, it's important, and what you're doing is so important. This has been a great show. I really appreciate you being here. It's just the beginning, because tonight we have the master class. So if you're in the vicinity, please come. I also hope it's just the beginning. We need to have one of these conversation things here on our campus.
I know, I would love to.
And we need to have her back and pack someplace and bring down the rafters. Also, if you're in the vicinity tomorrow night, Thacker Mountain Radio Hour, Julie Williams will be on there. And I also want to end with a huge heartfelt thank you to all of our viewers and supporters. We're going to be having a fundraising campaign coming up. We've already received $2,500. Thank you very much. I know who you are. And I want to give a huge, huge thank you to the team. So I get to sit here, I get to talk to Julie, but they are the brilliance that creates all of this, and they're behind doing the hard work. So Benton Donahue, Maya Taylor, Ben Curry, where'd Isabel go? And Isabel Goad. Give them a round of applause. And my partner in, I was going to say crime, but that's not good. My partner in just projects extraordinaire, Brady Bramlett. Thank you to Brady. And remember, the music research revolution continues. Till next time, edutainment.